Hello trumpet players, welcome back to my channel. In this video we're going to talk about the difference between a steady airstream and air support. So we got a question this week from somebody that uses my books, and his name is Dennis, and he has taken lessons before. He uses my books, and he's a frequent visitor of this YouTube channel. And since we're not having a Q&A this week, I figured I would answer his question this way. He wants to know, what's the difference between what I say in my books? I talk about steady airstream, and what other people talk about with air support. What is the difference? And to me, there is some overlap in that, of course. And let me say this first before we get too deep into it. I won't speak for other people. I think most of you already know that. It would be wrong for me to take a position on what they mean when they say stuff like that. But I can tell you what it means to me. Air support. So the reason people use the term air support is if there's not enough air. And this is probably why you would rarely, I'm not going to say it never happens, but you would rarely hear me say that someone needs to have, quote unquote, more support. You don't have to support more most of the time. Because that's not, I can't even see, the way I teach, I can't even see anything that would cause me to say something like that. So what is more support to me? More support means that the air pressure that you're delivering from the abdomen, from the core muscles, and so I shouldn't say abdomen, so the whole of the core, so your chest, what do they call that, inner thoracic muscles or whatever it's called, right? Your chest, your abdomen muscles, all of this squeezes like a bagpipe, right? All of it squeezes so that the air can come out. And remember, for me, because of my personality type, the words that we say matter. If I hear the words more support, it tells me that the person is not squeezing enough from down here. And there's very rare circumstances, very rare situations when I would ever say to a student, you're not supporting enough. That the air pressure coming out of your lungs is not enough. Okay? So that it's extremely rare. Extremely rare. Okay? So for me, the division here has to do with music versus not music. Music versus mechanical. Why do I talk about steady airstream? Because steady airstream is music. You cannot make beautiful music without a steady airstream. And that steady airstream needs to happen at all volume levels. So if we're playing softly, we need to have a steady airstream, but just at a lower volume level. And that's not as easy as it sounds. And equally difficult is playing loud with a steady airstream. And, you know, when we look at what makes beautiful music, it's I tell people this all the time about my routines. We want the routine to be so steady that they're not musical. Okay? This is where some people get confused. I remember I had a student showed up one time, and he was playing all of the exercises in the book very musically. He was putting vibrato, he was phrasing, and it was very beautiful. And I told him that if you want full benefit of the exercises, you should play it completely flat, completely steady. So like when we do I don't have my horn out. When we do the tonalization studies, da da dee da 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 dee da da dee, we want the air to be completely mechanical, and you would say the logical thought, the false logic would be, if I make it completely mechanical, how do I make music? How does that become music? Well, that's an almost impossible thing to do. To actually do the tonalization studies from the middle of your range to the top of your range, down to the bottom of your range, back to the root, back to the tonic. To do that with no fluctuation in the air pressure is not easy. A lot of people can't do it at all. A lot of people go, do-ah-dee-ah-da-ee-ah-dee. They have notes that pop out here and there, right? For us to be better players, we want to make it as smooth as possible from one note to the next, like a machine. So, to answer the question, where's the music in that? Once you develop that skill to play a steady airstream, once you are able to have exactly the same air pressure over your whole range, exactly same air pressure over your whole, from one note to the next, from the beginning of the note to the end of the note. Once you have that skill, you now have a product that you can, this is one of the reasons why we have the 50% rule. You play like that in the routine, so you can develop that smooth airstream, that steady airstream. Then you take it over to the music, and now you add shape to that, but that shape is going to have more beauty to it. So now that we're going up and down, now that, and that's fractal, by the way, right? Because that can happen on the notes themselves, that can happen in the phrase, that can happen over the whole movement, where you have this steadiness of an incline, steadiness of a drop. That's what makes music sound like music. So if we come to the music stuff with a lack of control, that's what does it take to have a steady airstream? Physical control. You cannot squirm in your chair and have that steady airstream. You cannot do funny, weird thing with your mouth and get a steady airstream. It takes so much control to make your body so very gradually push that air through in a way that doesn't cause any bumps. It takes control. If you don't have that, you have a lack of control. And phrases, if we just talk about phrasing right now, phrases that don't have that control disguise the phrase. So you'll have a note that pops out too soon, being too loud. You'll have a climax that's diminished because you were too soft. If you have the control that it takes to play a completely steady airstream, regardless of what dynamic level, then you now have the control to make beautiful music. That's, to me, the difference. So my book, even though technically speaking, it's an exercise book. Well, I shouldn't say book anymore. It's obviously books now. Just to be clear, what books are we talking about? The original book was the Daily Routines book. Then I had the Chops Express book. And now I'm slowly developing the Trumpet Chops series, which has, the first one was a Chops Pro, Chops Player, Chops Tyro, Chops Master was the most recent one. All of those books are exercise books, but none of it is meant to be divorced from the musical purpose. You know, maybe some of you have heard me say this already. All physical work should be done for musical reasons. I'm going to say it again. All physical work on the trumpet should be done for musical reasons. I came up with that saying in the context of people trying to master the exercises. I do not believe in mastering the exercises. I believe in doing the exercises. Of course, we want to strive for the best work that we can do. When we're doing, let's say, for example, the lip slurs, we want to make, in that moment, we want to make the lip slurs as good as we can make them. We want to strive. But that's not the purpose. That's not our objective. The objective is to do the lip slurs so that the work that we do in the music benefits. Always keep your mind on the goal. The goal is to be a better musician, to create better music. Okay? That's a very, very important point. And to me, when we say more air support, it is lacking that element. Remember what I said earlier, the words we say matter. When you say more air support, you can have more air support without a steady airstream. And it can be extremely bombastic and ugly. So no, it's extremely rare. You know, when do we need more air support? When we're playing louder. Maybe my idea of what those words mean is different for other people. Maybe, because I have heard people say that you have to support more when you're playing softly. Okay, and maybe what they do when they play soft is support from here more and cut back in the throat, right? Cut it off in the throat so that they're supporting more. That's what I'm saying. To me, the words matter. More air support means you're pushing harder from down here. Okay? And I can't even think of a time when that's appropriate, except to play louder. And not even always that, right? Because it's more complicated than just that. The way the trumpet works physically, it's more complicated than just push harder from down here. There's other stuff that has to happen in tandem with the support. That's why you get so many people. They say support, support, support. And then the students get this nasal sound. Well, because now they're supporting too much for what they're doing up here. Okay? So to me, I don't use that term for that reason. To me, more support is a very unmusical, mechanical approach to something that I don't even know why they would have someone do that. I know that I've heard it in the context of getting a better sound, but yeah, I don't see the connection. Steady airstream is the essence of what music is. I'll leave you with this last thought. I like to say that whatever your airstream is, that's what your music is. Okay? If you have a timid airstream, then your music is timid. If you have a forceful and aggressive airstream, then your music is forceful and aggressive. If you have a triumphant airstream, then your music is triumphant. Okay? What makes fine trumpet playing, the art of trumpet playing, so beautiful is the superhuman. Why do I say superhuman? Because that's above what's, I said superhuman. Supernatural. I call it supernatural because it's over and above what is natural. It's over and above what comes natural to us. Doing a steady airstream is not natural. When we accomplish that, it's something that is elevated, something above what's human. That's what I meant by superhuman. Okay? When we can have that kind of airstream. So, like I said, whatever your airstream is. So if you have this desire to make you want your music to be beautiful, then make your airstream beautiful. If you want your music to be intense, then make your airstream intense. But how do you get the control to make those changes? Part of it is the 50% rule. I know that I'm starting to repeat myself, but this is my final thought. Part of it is the 50% rule. What you practice each day, only 50% of it should be exercises. The other, at least 50%, should be music. Because in the exercises, you're striving for something that is not musical. You're striving for something that's not even human, not even natural. You're striving to elevate your skills to a level that doesn't come natural to anybody. You have to work on it. You have to master your body to make it do that. Then you take what you learned, and the second half of your day, you start bending and shaping what you took from the exercises. Now you're bending and shaping that to make something beautiful on the musical side of your work. So I hope that clarifies the difference. We've got the airstream, which is basically looking at like a graph of how much air is being used. Does the air increase? Does it decrease? We have to have the skill to make it steady. Then, when we go over to the music thing, we start bending it around. All right, if you've got questions about this, I strongly encourage you to join us at the next Trumpet Q&A. We're going to have one on the 20th, I think. I can't promise it. That would be May 20th, 2024. Okay? If you can't join us that way, you can send me an email. I might still answer your question in the Q&A and then send you a link. You might comment here on this video. And I'll send you a link that way. Okay? Anyway, God bless you guys. I hope this helped, and we'll see you next time.